So you may recall in a recent video short I posted, there were 2 oak posts leaning on a log. So they certainly weren't for the pool deck table build, but after cutting a few nice little bevel details in the top of them, I'm about to show you what I did use them for. So at the chateau beside the walled garden, there is an orchard, and the entry to the orchard has 2 stone walls, as you're about to see. And between those stone walls, it had a makeshift gate for a long time, and it was time to give that a little upgrade. And of course, we needed somewhere for the oak posts to go to hang the gates from, so it was time to start digging. So it's fair to say I've never dug 2 harder holes in my life, especially the first one. The amount of stone and flint that needed to come out to make way for these posts was extraordinary. And the time it took to do it was also extraordinary. Anyhow, all done, and now as you can see, the posts are being positioned and levelled. So with the post, what I did was I painted on a protective coating of the section that would be below ground level, and then I backfilled the hole with some stone, some crushed rock beforehand to place as like a bed to place the posts on, and then I mixed up some concrete, poured that in, and then backfilled with more stone. And as you can see, about 2/3 of the way down the posts, I set some threaded rod into the wall and then secured the post back to that threaded rod, so it was perfectly plumb and would pretty much guarantee, along with the concrete footing, that the posts were never going to sag. The other thing I should mention is with jobs like this, I find it's always better to over-engineer something, because the last thing you want is to have a situation where you get sagging in the post, or it's not solid or stable in years to come, and then it just becomes a real nightmare to fix it up. So with the posts setting in the concrete in the ground, it was time to move on to making the gate frames. To do that, I had some recycled Western red cedar. That was perfect for this due to its external properties and the fact that it's dead straight and nice and light as well. So the cedar had a tongue and groove system on it, and as you saw just before, I had to plane all that off just to get them to be nice and square boards, and then it was just a matter of cutting and assembling the gate frames together. And then it was time to bring out the belt sander. Just put this frame on a table and then just lightly go over it with the sander to get it all nice and flat, and that way it would present a little bit nicer at the end also. I probably should mention, I don't think I said this earlier, that this opening was going to have 2 gates on it, obviously for the 2 posts, so 1 gate hanging off each post. It wasn't just going to be one long gate across the whole span, so make it a bit nicer. And then the idea was to have inactive and an active panel. So with the post setting in the ground and the gate frames done, I needed to start thinking about the pickets on the front of the gate. For this, we had an image of what we wanted to achieve in mind, with some sort of distressed looking pickets based on some inspiration we got from Paris. So I ended up finding a whole bunch of chestnut half logs at a timber yard for pretty cheap. So I just grabbed a bunch of those, and then in order to get the proportions right, I needed to rip every single one of them down so that they would effectively become quarters. But before ripping them, the consideration needed to be made about the height of them. So I would just cut them to length here and then proceed to rip them all down. Easiest way in this case to mark a line down what would be the rough centre of the half log was just to use a chalk line. They weren't dead straight, but it was just about finding the best line you could, which would act as the rip line for the new cut. So with all the ripping complete, you're about to see the final stack of all the pickets ready to be hand shaped into the final shape, I guess, that we wanted to achieve for the look and feel of the gates. And then they would just be spaced out on the gate leaves as so, fixed off in position, and then that would be it. So as you can see on these gates, I have managed to recycle some old strap hinges, which there was 4 of them, and ended up working perfectly for this purpose. And then I picked up that little slide latch bolt for like €5 from a market, which was perfect for what I needed as well. And then it was just a case of fixing them all off from the rear to make all the fixings look concealed from the front. So that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one.